You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, let's talk about the WNBA. We got some various statements being made, comments being made around the idea that there could be a potential WNBA strike coming from the players' union and the players. It's scary to think they've turned this over to the committee, of which 3 members, president, Project B, and 2 of their vice presidents, unrivaled, are there making decisions involving another competitor's league on behalf of the players. I'm still floored that the players in the league themselves are okay with that. Come on, guy. I mean, I don't know if it's this league that gets people to completely check out on being rational. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, literally, if I was a player in the first, I'd be like, no, they got to go because they're involved in another league and it makes us all look bad. You know, there ought to be representation on those committees that are not involved in any other league, at least in the United States. Here we are. So, one of the people that makes a comment or a statement on what they think is going on here echoes what I said. I think it's very likely that they wanted this authorization, a vote on authorization to strike to go public, so the players look tough. And then at the 11th hour, they are going to get with Adam Silver and they're going to sign whatever deal is on the table. We found out the other day from a very smart guy by the name of David Sampson, a sports business guru. He come out and said that issue of revenue sharing is dead. It's not going to happen. And the NBA, the owners, are not going to agree to it. And that the women would comply if they wanted to play ball. Otherwise, they would fold the league. Wow. And I mean, they simply are not going to give that up, the owners. So this was put out by Alexa Philippou over at ESPN. Why did the players authorize a strike vote? WNBA PA President Nike Ogumake described the vote as, quote, a symbol of our unity and the confidence that we have in each other to be able to give ourselves some level of authority in these negotiations. But we also deem the move to give ourselves as much leverage as possible to get a good deal done. So she just told you this is a public symbol of, look at us, we are women, hear us roar. They're going to end up signing a deal. I mean, but they look strong because they threw it out there that they're willing to strike. A decision on whether to strike is now in the hands of the 150 plus players, but they give it up, it's not in the hands of the 150 plus players, but in the hands of the 7-player WNBPA executive committee. So it's in the hands of the committee. It's amazing to me. This means we could strike if we need to, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we want that to happen. But we have it in our arsenal in order to get us exactly what we need, which is a fair deal that represents our value in a very meaningful way. Again, keep in mind, they're staring at essentially, let me just do some math. Times 7. Okay, let's see. Times 8. They are staring at an 8 times max salary increase by the end of this new proposed deal. So by the end of, let's say the deal is a 3-year deal or whatever, by the end of that 3 years, it would be an 8 times salary increase. on a max contract. You're turning that down because from a public perception, that makes you look very bad. How and what circumstances would the committee strike? An opportunity for a strike to be an option if negotiations don't progress. Adding that she believes the talks are still in a bit of their infancy. The WNBA, meanwhile, has repeatedly said in statements strongly disagree with the WNBPA's characterization of the current state of negotiations. When asked what factors would prompt the executive committee to pursue a strike, it's kind of early to even say that per se. That question might be for something closer to January 9. I'm not entirely sure what factors, aside from what we're looking to get in revenue sharing, could lead us to make a decision to strike an authorization vote. Okay, so let's just come down here to people that you see this. What do onlookers think about a strike? Industry insiders have a range of opinions on the likelihood and merits of a strike, particularly one so long before the season starts, as well as the union's apparent strategy. Quote, if you're so far apart, as the union claims, and the negotiations have not gone well, and you have the right to strike at any point, why aren't you striking? One industry source said, if it's all negative with no progress, what are you waiting on? That's interesting. It's okay to strike, to me, one agent told ESPN. In some cases, walking away saying no is a really good part of the strategy in negotiation. Again, all part of negotiation. But not everyone believes the league would be more than willing to come closer to players' demands with the threat of a strike looming. Quote, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is going to step in and say, quote, ladies, we're not moving on this, this, and this. But we will do this, this, and this. And then we're going to get a deal done in early January. That was from another agent. So you see what that says. Adam Silver is going to step in and say, we're not doing this revenue sharing. We're willing to do this. We're willing to do this. We're willing to give you an 8-time salary increase. But on that particular issue, and I think that's a breaking issue. Nonetheless, one common belief among insiders is that for all the potential strike talk, the players in the league understand the importance of a 2026 season, so it's still unlikely that games will be missed. I think a worst stoppage by technicality is possible, another league source added. I'm not worried at this point about us missing games. So in other words, they might strike. They could even strike as, again, public perception. We're going to strike. And then 4 days later, they got a deal. And then it's no harm, no foul towards the actual season itself. And that allows these players to, again, look brave, stunning, and courageous. Look at us. We were willing. All the media, sports media pieces, puff pieces that are going to come out about how brave, stunning, and courageous all these women were to strike against the vicious NBA owners that are offering them an 8-time salary increase. You can't make this shit up, folks. I mean, some of this is downright laughable at this point. It really is. All we have heard until about, 8 or 9 months ago, it seemed like, all we had heard is, we want to be paid what we're worth. They're offered an 8-time salary increase, and now everything's, but we want revenue sharing. Now that's the thing. And it's like, again, revisit this at a later date when the owners have actually made a profit in this league. Again, do you notice we're actually a good bit past the point we were last year where the actual numbers came out public by the New York Post? Like, we knew the league in 2024 had lost $40 million. I think by the end of November it was. We found that out. and we're almost to the end of the year, and we still don't know if the league, and that's probably a ploy by the players, because if it comes out that this league still failed to make a profit and you're asking for all of this, the players are going to look gargantuanly bad. They're going to look awful. And that pay us what you owe us and all that, you're going to look like total fools. That's not going to be good. If it comes out that they still didn't make a profit. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.